I'm Dominique O'Rourke. I'm the Member of Parliament for Guelph. Merci très sincèrement pour votre présence. Et à Linamar, merci beaucoup pour votre hospitalité. It is so fitting to be in the Frank Hassenfrat Centre for Excellence in Manufacturing to announce Canada's new auto strategy. Linamar has been a cornerstone of innovation and advanced manufacturing in Guelph and globally. Their leadership continues to shape not only our local economy, but Canada's position in the global auto sector and other sectors as well. Linamar's success and indeed Canada's new auto strategy, they both underscore the importance of ongoing support for the best auto workers in the world, support for innovation in the auto sector, and a relentless pursuit of new global markets. Thank you, Mark Stoddart, and your entire team for the work you do every day and for hosting us today. Thank you, Mayor Cam Guthrie, our MPP Mike Schreiner, and Chamber of Commerce President Andy Veilleux for being here. Our presence here collectively represents one of Guelph's great strengths, and that is we enjoy strong collaboration across all levels of government, in the business community, and throughout the broader community. And that collaboration is absolutely essential as we help local businesses face weather the impacts of unjustified American tariffs and chart the next chapter of Canada's automotive and industrial future. There's no better city to illustrate and realize the potential that lies in the synergy of a successful and sustainable auto sector than Guelph. Ça vaut la peine de répéter fort et fier, il n'y a aucune autre ville au Canada qui illustre et concrétise mieux la synergie d'un secteur automobile prospère et durable que Guelph. As a member of the Industry Committee, Chair of the Auto Caucus, and Member of Parliament for Guelph, it's my absolute privilege to convene and to continue this important conversation about where the auto sector is headed. We know how critical the sector is to the Canadian economy, to each worker, and to each community. The strategy supports and showcases Canada's ability to adapt, to innovate, and to lead when the world is changing quickly. We know global competition is intensifying, consumers are demanding cleaner, smarter, more efficient options. Countries around the world are racing to secure the investments, talent, and supply chains that will define the next generation of mobility. And Canada has every reason to lead this race for the sector and in our race to net zero. Les défis sont nombreux, les enjeux sont importants, et nous avons le leadership nécessaire pour renforcer la capacité industrielle du Canada, d'attirer des investissements importants et promouvoir l'innovation partout au Canada. Il n'y a personne de mieux placé pour le faire que ma collègue et notre ministre de l'Industrie, l'honorable Mélanie Joly. Just as Guelph has this extraordinary synergy of the auto sector and sustainability leadership, we're fortunate to have with us today a leader who has served as the Minister of Global Affairs, therefore deeply understands the global dynamics, and now works tirelessly to strengthen Canada's industrial capacity to attract major investments and to champion innovation across the country. It's my absolute honor to invite you to join me in welcoming my colleague, my Minister on the Industry Committee, and Canada's Minister of Industry, the Honourable Mélanie Joly.
Well, thank you. Merci beaucoup. Dominique, tu sais que je suis déjà une fan, mais je vais le dire devant les médias. Hein? So I just said in French, you know already that I'm a fan, but I'm saying it in front of the media. Dominique has been a tireless advocate, obviously, for Guelph and southwestern Ontario, but actually also focusing on the auto sector. And she was the first to create an auto caucus within our caucus, and she's been leading it. So she's been actually a very important part of putting the auto strategy together. So merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Mr. Mayor, MPP, Mark, everybody, I'm really happy to be here. Unfortunately, Linda is elsewhere, but we love Linda, and we know she's working. So, and I'll be in contact with her later today. So thank you for hosting us. When you think about it and take a bit of a step back of what does it mean to be part of the auto industry in Canada? Well, we're 500,000 auto workers strong. We're fundamentally an auto nation. We build the best cars in the world for the world. And we've been time and time again winning prizes because we're building these cars. And also we have some of the most productive plants, auto plants in the world. Even recently, I know that the Dodge Charger won the Car of the Year at the Detroit Auto Show. I know that Linamar has been participating in actually building this car because a lot of the auto parts come from Linamar and from here. So I wanted to congratulate the team, the executive team, the workers, because that's because of your work. So congrats. I know we're not that many, but why not? Why not? And where we can also be extremely proud is we have national champions when it comes to auto parts. And Linamar is one of the 3 national champions, not only building here, but also across the world auto parts. So we come to the auto conversation in a place of strength. And we know that the sector is going through a lot of change. Yes, US tariffs, unjustified, unjustifiable, 25% tariffs against our industry and our workers. But also it is happening at a time where there's a real revolution happening in the auto sector, because we know that the electrification is a reality, the market is going there, and actually capital is going there. It has not necessarily hit as much North America, but it's a question of time. And by 2035, 40% of all the cars in the world sold will be EVs. So what do we do? There are lots of things we can't control. We can't control what's going on in south of the border, but there are many things we can control. And what we do with our auto sector is something we can control. And so we'll continue to fight for auto workers, we'll continue to fight for auto businesses, and I'll make sure that I fight within cabinet to prioritize the auto sector. And so, and Dominic, within caucus as well. So, our auto strategy has 2 main objectives. First, auto production. We want to make sure that we build cars in Canada, build them for North America, but also for the world. And the other objective is we want to embrace progress. We want to be able to embrace the new technologies that are being developed in the auto sector. So that's why yesterday we announced the Prime Minister announced a very important auto strategy, which is built on these different initiatives. First, $3 billion to support our automakers, to protect jobs, but also to attract new investments. Second, we'll continue to put counter tariffs against American-made vehicles because the US has put tariffs on our auto sector, but we will also allow more market access to companies that decide to invest here and actually build even more. And there are companies such as Honda and Toyota that since the beginning of this trade war have actually increased their auto production. So we want to reward them. We're also putting in place EV incentives, 5,000 for EVs, and particularly also those made in Canada, and 2,500 for hybrid plug-ins. We're going after GHG reduction through new GHG emission standards. And we think that will drive down emissions, but we're also aligning ourselves much more with Europe, which is a first. We will build new charging stations across the country. We know that there's range anxiety, and we need to address this. There are solutions we've seen elsewhere in the world, they're being built. We're putting $1.5 billion in the infrastructure bank to make sure that that's the case. We're also going to push even more for a work-sharing program and really prevent layoffs. So that's also focused on workers. And finally, we're attracting new investments. Our goal is to leverage our defense procurement, particularly the submarine deal, to attract new car plants in Canada. And also, we will use our trade agreements to have market access around the world to export the cars made here. So today, I'm happy to announce that in the coming weeks, I will convene the Canada Auto Task Force. And I was on the phone with Premier Ford again this morning and with Minister Fedeli. And together with the province, we will bring key decision makers from the auto industry, labor, and government to have a clear plan for the future. Our first objective will be to build the 2029 Honda Civic in Canada. And we will secure the future Toyota RAV4 and Lexus models for Canadian production. First objective. Second objective, we are bringing production home, and we will focus on Ingersoll, Brampton, and Oshawa, which have been hit by either closures or reduction of shifts. And third objective, we will attract new partners to build new auto plants in Canada. Et donc, grâce à cette stratégie, on pense qu'on va pouvoir investir des milliards de dollars pour aider nos entreprises à grandir et à s'adapter. Et on va renforcer nos chaînes d'approvisionnement. On va pouvoir soutenir nos petites et moyennes entreprises qui sont tellement essentielles au secteur de l'automobile. Et bien entendu, on va investir dans nos travailleurs. So, 2025 was a year where we were all reacting to what was going on, particularly south of the border. 2026 is the year where we have a plan and we're moving ahead. It will be a pleasure for me to take all your questions. Merci beaucoup.
We'll take a few questions. Just saying your name, please. Hi, Santana, reporter with Guelph Today.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I know Linda isn't here, but around this time last year, there was an announcement here, and I'd asked her a question regarding the tariffs. Everything was quite new. And she said, in her opinion, if a significant tariff is imposed, it'll bring the industry to its knees. That was last year. What about this year? You just sort of said moving forward.
Well, our goal is that we will make sure that we fight back. And our auto workers have been at work, dedicated to build the best cars in the world. I've just mentioned we just won the Dodge Charger as the car of the year at the Detroit Auto Show. But also, we won't just sit idle while our industry is under threat. No. We're finding new partners. We're diversifying. We will continue to invest. And I think that in the 80s, Canada was facing a similar challenge. The D3 were basically shutting down operations and cutting jobs across the country. What happened? The Liberal government at the time decided to turn towards Japan, and eventually the Mulroney government decided to open Japanese-made car plants in Canada. And since then, Honda and Toyota have been producing 77% of all the cars in Canada this year. No major layoffs in 40 years. So we will invest in those who invest in us.
With that investment, what can Guelph see, what can Linamar see to propel forward?
So Mark and I are sitting down later today. What I would like to do is to not only expand even more the business plan of Linamar, but I want to make sure also that we are able to foster even more investment by our major auto parts companies with new players in the market. Linamar has great knowledge from around the world of the different auto trends. And so I think we can see what we can do to build much more Canadian-made cars with Canadian auto parts suppliers from here.
My last question.
Yeah.
In terms of EV, you know, we've got here at Linamar, they're doing things with batteries and storage and things like that.
Yep.
And local advocates here with Emerge Guelph have been pushing for these rebates back, et cetera. What do you say to the locals who are pushing for EV harder than ever?
Well, they should. Good news. We'll work with them.
Yasmine Mehdi avec Radio-Canada.
Oui,
Je vais
bonjour.
vous poser des questions en français. Je vais vous demander ensuite de répéter en anglais pour mes collègues de CBC
OK, il n'y a
aussi.
pas de problème.
Par rapport à Stellantis qui vend ses parts dans le projet NextStar à Windsor, votre réaction par rapport à ça et est-ce que ça n'envoie pas un drôle de message au lendemain de cette annonce de nouvelle stratégie de l'auto?
Ben, moi, je pense que c'est une très bonne nouvelle que la compagnie coréenne LG décide d'investir encore plus au Canada. Très bonne nouvelle. Je vois ça de façon très positive.
Pourquoi?
Parce que ça fait en sorte qu'ils décident de racheter un partenaire et donc ça veut dire qu'ils vont être ici pour longtemps.
In English, your reaction to the Stellantis news?
I think it's really good news. I think that it's very welcome and it shows that LG is here for a long run.
Est-ce que vous venez pas aussi de dire que Stellantis était peut-être un mauvais élève, un partenaire duquel vous voulez vous dissocier?
Non, je n'ai pas dit ça.
C'est un bon partenaire? Comment décrire cette relation avec Stellantis?
Écoutez, Stellantis a décidé de fermer Brampton. Hein? Donc, c'est leur décision. Tandis que nous, ben, notre décision, c'est de faire en sorte de soutenir ceux qui investissent en nous. LG est la preuve directe qu'ils décident d'investir en nous. Compagnie coréenne, on vient tout juste la semaine passée de signer une entente avec la Corée pour justement développer davantage la production automobile au Canada. Ben, vous voyez, ceci explique cela.
So you'd rather work with LG than Stellantis?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that we will invest in those who invest in us. And what do I mean by that? We just signed a partnership with Korea on auto manufacturing last week. What are we seeing this week? LG is buying out Stellantis to invest more in Canada. Good news.
Votre stratégie annoncée hier, oui, merci. Votre stratégie annoncée hier prévoit quand même de subventionner des véhicules fabriqués par Stellantis. Est-ce qu'on ne vient pas donner un coup de main comme ça à une compagnie qui décide de se retirer du marché canadien?
Non, au contraire. Je pense que Stellantis a décidé de ne pas réouvrir Brampton. C'est leur décision. Moi, je leur ai dit qu'on allait aller chercher l'argent qui était pour se faire rembourser. Notamment ce qui était lié à l'usine de batterie à Windsor. Alors, ceci explique cela. Il y a une raison aussi pourquoi ils décident de quitter.
In English?
So, what I've said is Stellantis decided not to reopen Brampton, notwithstanding the contract they had with the federal government, including regarding their battery business, which is called NextStar in Windsor. So, I said we would get our money back. We will get our money back. And now the fact that LG also is buying back Stellantis explains also why. We're moving ahead.
Hi, Dave from CTV.
Yep.
My question is, what do you make of the impact of Stellantis selling its energy plant in Windsor?
Yeah, well, that's a question I just answered in the 2 official languages.
Okay.
But, so my answer to that is I think it's good news for LG to anchor itself even more in Windsor. Last week, we signed a partnership with Korea on advanced manufacturing and the auto sector. LG is a Korean company, and following that partnership agreement, they just announced that they were basically buying out Stellantis. I think it's good news. I think LG is continuing to hire. They've hired 1,500 people within the last year, and they will continue. The job numbers are 3,000, and I've been having many conversations with LG. I even was in Korea in November, making sure that not only will they hire, but also when it comes to Stellantis, they decided not to reopen Brampton. I said we would be getting our money back. And I also said that the Brampton facility contract was linked to the NextStar contract. And so there's a reason why LG is buying back Stellantis, because we will get our money back from Stellantis.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.